Hello, friends of Komodo platform, friends of Pirate Chain. Let's look at some price charts. Today is 17th of September. It's a Friday. The week is coming near to a close. Whew. And my name is Giuliano. I'm going to share the screen to take a look at these charts using getaurox terminal. We'll start with the BTC for a quick view. We are now currently above the 47,000, but we were flirting with some 46,000s today. You can see here a weekly chart shaping up. This is not this red engulfing candle here sets a big tone for a downward trend, but currently we have some good buying support and we have this shape of candle going on. So we'll see what the Saturday and the Sunday look like, bringing in a weekly candle close, but it doesn't mean anything. We're not out of the woods yet at all. So that's a weekly time frame. On a daily time frame, we are stuck, squished, sandwiched between these two zones of resistance above and support below. So yeah, we dipped into the 46s, but the 47 is holding. However, the 47.5 is really the line to try and hold. So let's see, daily here, looks like it could regain some of that negative momentum, but we'll see. Whatever, we will see what is actually going to happen. I don't know how much longer we can keep negative momentum going. On a daily time frame, we've basically been correcting throughout all of this here. Whether or not we pumped up, since this mid-August time frame, we haven't really gone much further. We're in mid-September. It's really this retracement here that brought us back into the zone, but it showed that all of this fighting and this effort here to pump up here was for nothing for now. And so it's all been a sideways corrective movement for a couple of months, which is good. That's decent. That means that rather than correcting so much through price, it corrected more through time and ready for the next time. Let's hope so, because this cloud here would become quite the resistance if we do break below it. Also, I want to notice yeah, we still haven't really held the 200-day as a support. So at least on the daily, we haven't done that yet. So that might need to happen. On the 4-hourly price chart, I wanted to notice that, okay, we come in a little bit more into this zone here and we say, what's happening? Where are we? Where did we get to? We made our way up actually into a zone above this key support resistance area, above the cloud as well, for about a day or so, but couldn't hold a 200 period average. Yeah, and just breaking now into the cloud, trying to gain this support here. We'll see if it does. It still could go higher, but also the idea being that it's above this whole price range here. Remember, this is a 4-hour price chart, right? But you might, this type of action might look familiar to you recently. It's basically what's been going on a bigger picture. Okay, so that's where we are. And we want to take a little bit of a forethought of what's happening here. We are potentially coming to the closing levels, the supportive levels of this move down. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like eventually. The other option, right, on a bigger scale, see, because this is just another wave, the other option now is that we're coming again down. Firstly, we need to find that 44, 45,000 level. But coming down to here really denotes a very good likelihood of further down to the 40,000, 42, 40,000. Okay, so that's where we are. Even on a 4-hour level, like it could bleed. So there is this potential going into the weekend right now that Friday is shaping up as potentially a bit of a downturn, and that's okay. However, we get these downturns and then they turn higher. So a lot of times we get the downturn and then it gets higher. So we'll see here. We've got a downturn there. It made it higher. And now on a smaller level, okay, see, this is where degree comes in. So what degree is happening here? Is it a degree that where it's going to be a bigger wave and so it plays out a bigger degree? Or is this just a downturn here that's going to go higher and then have a downturn further? And we'll see really where does the bigger degree of downturn occur. Right now, it really is setting up for a nice zigzag. In fact, when we take a retracement from top to bottom, and then we see what the retracement is, I mean, we can take the candles off here. So yeah, it's not exactly a strong bounce up before this next downturn. But then again, it wasn't a horrible, it didn't continue falling over here. It has gone up at least. So the problem being though is looking for potential, like a lot of people are looking for one of these. They want to see what is that going to happen. It very likely could. I think watching out for what are the type of positions that exist in the market on the leveraged side of things can be very helpful to see, because the market is really good at pushing out people's leverage. I think that's where it gobbles up some of its earnings and profits nowadays, I imagine, compared to the spot market. Spot market is where you're just buying and selling the actual thing, the actual, let's say, Bitcoin. Yeah. All right. So for now, that's where we are. It's a 4-hour time frame. This is just a smaller version of the bigger stuff. So what does that mean for us? Well, we're following this pattern of down, and then we do sideways down over, and then up, and then down. So we had already this dump down, and then we're going sideways. What's happening here? We'll see. We're at a decent level of support resistance. This was already carved out already as a potential, and when we go into a shape like this, then it becomes, okay, is it a smaller degree and is it finishing yet? And if we're looking at it as a potential, maybe a double zigzag or some other format. So, I mean, yeah, there's always this room for us to touch around here anytime. Could even, yeah, like we could make another touch on this channel trend. All right. So that's not out of the question, especially closing wise. If we start getting to the candles, I don't know what you want to do here, but it's most likely a similar story. So you can, it's basically an idea here that we have going on. So yeah, if you understand that channeling idea, that's what we're working with right now on the 4-hour time frame. And I think I'll just keep that going with the closing prices on the 4-hour. And yeah, looking for that to happen. Either that or we're holding at this midline. If this is an ending phase, then we're going to hold around here and we're going to get out of it. But there's definitely the likelihood of coming to touch the trend line before maybe sidewaysing it and up. Or here's the issue too, is we've got this Ichimoku cloud, so maybe it'll provide us enough support that we can then work the way through and get above it, because previously we dumped right down below it. Now we're trying to get above it. That would be good to be able to do that. All right, we'll see. That's a 4-hour time frame. Overall, it's looking all right. because we're even just talking about it coming down here in this channel. Imagine a price range coming down to about a 45,000, which is possible. But then we start taking out, you know, we've got the higher high here comparatively. We don't want to start taking out these lows. So this is important lows here at 45,000 for sure. Yeah, we'll know the strength of it though. If it starts cracking below the into the 46s and down 45, yeah, not so keen on that. But anyway, I still have an upward bias on all of this. Yeah, I don't see this as being more of a long-term thing. I see it more as a short-term, and it could bounce around or do its thing. And again, the 40,000 is still in play, but overall, having said that, I think that the BTC price chart is looking overall decent. Because even 40,000 is, although it's a more scary level, still decent. But I think the 44 is really the line in the sand here. Is really the line in the sand. You don't want to start coming down to the 44, because then you've got people thinking about heads and shoulders here on this end, and then yeah, you're just playing with fire. But you end up having a lot of this. If you start coming down to 40, you know, breaking down below the Ichimoku, and then you have that type of resistance energy. So this is a pretty key zone, I would say, around in here in this time frame. You want to just stay above these levels here, stay above, especially the 44. But if you can stay into the like above this 200-day moving average, that's really the key. We mentioned it before, so you just want to make sure you know, the price hovering around that 200-day moving average. If it starts to well, I think here's the beauty of it, because this is a daily price chart, and it doesn't even register much on the on this channel, right? So you go into the 4-hour, you can tell us that we have a lot better view of what is the potential for this move. We have this Ichimoku stuff here, support here going on right now. That'll be very clear for us, which includes also this channeling. So we know that those three things already are telling us a lot of information about where the price is more likely to go. All right, so let's see what happens in the next little bit. You know, the next 2 days, right? This is the weekend. Weekend will tell us, and then maybe during the next week is going to be another red week. Red weeks can look very can look one way or another on these price charts. You know, it could be a week that has a lot of price action in between, but closes wherever, you know, nothing threatening. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We will definitely see in the coming days what things will look like. Right now, I think the markets are waiting. You know, at any time there could be just fudding information and news and other stuff like that, which gets thrown in there. And there's a lot of people with a lot of sway over the market sentiments, which sentiments are really fragile. But at the same time, I think that everybody has a more fundamental view that there is an inevitability about the BTC markets. And so that's always helpful. And I think just the noise is a day-to-day signals of information, which it just feels like it takes a long time sometimes. Similar to this video, maybe you're watching it and you're just saying, forget it, I'm going 1.5 times the speed to get through it quicker. I don't know. But we can't do that with our real daily life. And so we just watch what's happening. And I think, yeah, overall, we are looking solid. I mean, on a daily level, we're looking not to increase the negativity, but even if it does go further negative, it's not coming from a horrible place. Just again, as a reminder, need to hold this area here though, with this Ichimoku twist happening here, Kumo twist. Okay, so there is your BTC idea. Still have the whole holding idea along the this type of RSI trend line. So anyway, yeah, we're good. Now let's move over after all of that to some Komodo platform. We're trying to hold this 2,200 Satoshi level. And so there you have it. You might see it. You might have already seen it. We did get a waterfall effect, and we fell through this trend line so strongly. That's why the trend lines can serve as a good place to be neutral. Then if it has dumped down, then you have, or if it goes higher, then the strength is there. This was definitely a key area you saw, and it couldn't quite hold and dumped down. So we're going to get a little closer in on the 4-hour price chart, holding at the longer term greens for now. But again, it could be a similar idea where it comes down, and then who's to say we might get back up to this level here, challenge the uptrending pink line around the Ichimoku cloud and reject again. Who knows? However, so far this level of support resistance is holding true. Is supporting upward trend line in green. And in terms of the relationship zigzag wise, let's say we take ourselves here to here, and so yeah, 1-to-1 on a 4-hour price chart could have some wicks below. So you can set yourselves around the 2,000. That was the previous idea as well. 2,200 really important, and then 2,000 is pretty much a must for like support, buying support. And then you're really getting danger of just losing this upward trending green line, and then you're trying to fight that from below. That's not good. So KMD BTC here is a big deal. And then if we're taking it from here, let's go into a daily price chart and say, all right, what are we looking at here? We're going to check the retracement from the A wave. So if this is a correction and we're going down, okay, so it's roughly 61.8. So we're just going to call this a zigzag. It's got the slant and it's got the price difference here. So if we're going to take a comparison, yeah, again, either it's going to show strength around these like 618, 786 type of level and show that support, or it's clear that it's not. So remember, clarity was going to come one way or another, and now we see that weakness is the side of the clarity for the KMD against the BTC, and you see against the USD as well. So now we have one hope here. Here's a hope that we have. Okay, as these Bollinger Bands are starting to narrow and try and figure themselves out, either it's going to be a bigger dump down, right? Breaching the Bollinger Bands and widening them again to the downside here, or it's going to be one of those moves where it touches around the Bollinger Bands and then it goes the other way. It makes its way over the 20-period average, and then goes the other way and takes off. So that's the only way that this point that we're getting this 200-day moving average. Okay. Otherwise, at this point here, we are making the way below the Ichimoku cloud. So this Ichimoku cloud setup here needs to also provide some support along the way. I tried to get into the Ichimoku cloud. You see, couldn't hold it, and here we are in the price. So, and this is on a daily price level, really strong downward candles. I see another one for the next day or so. I mean, it's just what it's looking like. Now, in terms of some momentum indicators, yeah, it's going for the negative. It's got some opportunity to continue with that. It's got room to go on the RSI. It's just, there you go. It's weaker than it was before. So how quickly it turns, and that's your KMD price chart action. All right. So we have some hope remaining, and we're going to work with that. Also, I'm going to recognize that this uptrending line might become a bit of a resistance. So anybody who wants to play with that, you have that line as well now to work with and consider. All right. And we're just going to extend this because now we're really coming up to it. We're really coming up against it. And that is in this area here. So this weekend will be a fun ride. Possibly looking for a candle out of there. That's the life jacket right now, just to stay afloat. Okay. Anyway, overall, it's okay. You know, you're just taking one wave, and if that's the case, and then we go forward with it. And this is a long-term price action. Not the friendliest weekly candle. It's not over yet, but okay. This altogether can be its own structure on a weekly time frame, and that's fine. That's how these things work. And we're just trying to chart and plot them along the way. You know, we haven't seen anything yet. It hasn't really moved, that much. I mean, it's been flat for a lot of this year. We got this action. So if you're in and out, then you can do things differently. But again, this is a long periods of weeks. We're not in that uptrend yet, which is fine. Look, we're building one here. We're building that uptrend here. It's winding up even more. So we're looking for higher takeoffs. We'll see when that happens. Might need to first come down first before going. That's just how it is, especially if BTC is going to take off. I mean, KMD BTC, you know, that's where it easily can be getting a bit more of a dump. So, or just a neutral downwards level. So there you go. That's the idea right now for KMD. You just do your best over here to keep enjoying what you enjoy. We're at a very key price level here, facing these resistances and trying to hold that. And then of course, this type of support level, trying to hold that. This is a really key area. So there you go. It's where we are. And I hope that that makes sense to you. Oops. If we're pulling, I don't know if it'll be the same as this, but if we're going to pull one of those, it's a bit different. This candle action here with the bigger green candle is a bit more of a flat type of strength, you know. So this one was a bit weaker, if you know what I'm saying. Having said that, though, this and this can be also paired together. So be ready for KMD BTC to be weaker than expected. However, I don't want to turn all bearish in one moment here. We have this path forward, and I would like to see the KMD price take that path forward. And because really what we need is getting over this first line, this first downtrend line. We need to get over that thing. Once we can get over that, then we can figure it out. Like if you get over it and then you break this green trend line, who cares? Even if that means you come back down. But even more ideally, like, come on, you get there and you play around, and who knows what that takes or means. But eventually you eventually want to get out of these trend lines and go. You need to go somewhere. You need to go somewhere. How are we going to get out of these trend lines, these downtrend lines? Yeah, you know, it's a time away. I mean, if you look at this trend line in today's time frame, you'd need to be at the 4,000 Satoshis level, 4,300 to be fighting this trend line. So it decreases, And by January of 2022, you need to be at 3,500 Satoshis, roughly, right? This is just a rough type of idea. And then by March, you would need to be around the 2,800 Satoshis level, which is what we were previously fighting, trying to get into. So yeah, I mean, another 6-9 months, whatever it's going to be, to just start fighting this trend line. It could be. This is just trying to put things in perspective. Same thing with this this trend line here. At least we have something that's closer. So again, trying to get out of that trend line is the first idea. So that kind of brings it back into perspective where we are today. That's the importance of holding the green trend line, because then it gets us closer to this sucker sooner. Okay, then we'll see what ends up happening with that. But this zone here will be a resistance zone, and so let's see what happens the next day or two. Let's go 4-hour time frame just for fun to see. Get rid of you. Get rid of you if you're still watching. Thanks about it. We don't want to get rid of you. Yeah, looks like we're finishing up this sucker though. I can feel that just based on the shape and the fractal of it. Either that or we've got another dump going, but yeah, doesn't look like it needs much more. So let's hope that that's true. Although we're only just now breaching this Bollinger Bands to the downside, so we'll see. And we haven't really done anything in terms of clearing out the RSI. So yeah, it did break the 4-hour RSI uptrend. That's what I wanted to clear out too. And yeah, so there you are. We'll see what the 4-hour does, but it might need to dump down further. Okay, but overall, it looks like we are clearing this out. Yeah, this looks way better on this move down. Ooh, okay, feeling a bit better looking at the 4-hour time frame. It shows some potential turning around. Looks like we're using this potential support here, this zone. But anyway, this is not guaranteed. And if it needs to be a bigger degree, that's fine. But I'm getting the sense that we're near the end of this one. Okay. And then how does that correlate back to the daily? Yep, exactly. Maybe I have one more candle here that has some negativity, even some redness to it, could even have a wick down, whatever it is. And then boom, we can stay above. So there you have it. I think that's a path forward. All right, that's the idea. And then we'll see what the weekly looks like when it's time, but that's not a favorable red candle, that's for sure. Definitely not a favorable red candle. Okay. All right, but overall, actually, I really don't mind this shape. I really don't mind this shape. That's pretty decent. I'll take it. Yeah. Now, if that goes down to here, well, par for the course, and we continue forward. All right, that's the other option, but that's a weekly time frame, and we shall see what that looks like going forward. Yeah, I'm still feeling good. If anybody's feeling a little bit on the negative side, seeing these movements of price in the KMD BTC chart, well, there you go. It's not all poor. It's not all horrible. We also would benefit from the BTC staying stable. So watch out for that too. That could be a part of it. But yeah, even on the USDT price chart, just couldn't hold this 20-period average after breaking out the downtrending resistance, making it even into our yellow box zone here. Just couldn't hold it. It was really weak, and now we're just making this sideways channel, very strong sideways channel here. Looking at this previous support levels here currently, and also confluencing with the downtrending line. Let's see if this holds actually as support. I imagine it will. If not, we are in trouble. Yeah, if not, then we are looking at some like 85-cent KMD as a really strong possibility. So that's it. That's the idea. On a daily, yeah, who knows, you know, we can turn anyway. These lagging indicators aren't really giving anything special. I like this. I do like this, but I'm a little concerned. A little concerned. I don't like that we broke this level here. Over here, I don't like it. If it could have held higher up, that would have been ideal. I don't know what happened here. Needed to hold around $8, $10. That would have been strong, but it didn't. So that's not an ideal situation, but that's a pretty strong rundown. I don't know if it really needs. This is called the. Well, I'm not going to give it a silly name, but anyway, yeah, you got one of these happening here, and that can be not your friend. However, whoops, wrong button. However, it is holding this line, and it is yeah, it all depends, bigger market, and what is the you know, the macro picture. Because if things are really just set for a dump, it could be one of these, you know, where you're hitting an 80 cents level and figuring out the next type of idea. Because, you know, there are other macro forces, pictures, and sentiments that are happening, considering that stuff happening in China right now with that whole debacle there. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, so those kinds of ideas. Plus, there's just other stuff. Anytime the SEC, or anytime, you know, if there's a bill passed and then some other stuff happens, whatever. But really, I just do not want to see it dump down into these levels. That would be so not so good. It would just signal just a longer downturn before finding a way to build and continue, whatever that looks like. Because right now there's still a really good level here. There's nothing wrong with using this as accumulation for further movement. So yes, it might need to dip down below, but really trying to keep it here in this sideways movement so that we can use that as a wind up. We'll see. That's the KMD USDT price, and 4 hours. Hey, you know, this 4 hour RSI has not cleared yet either. So just waiting for a dump at this point. Unfortunately, that is the idea. Maybe fortunately, are you ready for a dump? That could be to your benefit. None of this financial advice, but definitely what a strong area this needs to hold. Yeah, you know what? If it doesn't hold, let's just give ourselves a retracement here. Let's get some ideas going. So let's say that was the bottom of the wave, the move, and this becomes the top of the wave, the move. Yeah, I think we're good, unless it really needs to be, again, another severe correction. But previously there was a severe enough correction. Previously there was a very severe correction. I don't think it needs to be this severe this time. If this is a full move, if this wave here is the up impulse wave, and now we're in a correction that needs to be prolonged, how much further down does it need to go? When we take a retracement here, I don't think it really needs to go much. You know, you can start there, you can start here. I think that we are okay. I think we are okay. Now, having said that, KMD is the KMD, and macro is other macro forces are macro forces, and so And also this chart is just this chart. So on this bigger degree, it might need to come down more and clear out things, and then it can keep going. That's just October here. So if it needs to do whatever it needs to do into October, that's what's going to happen. That's just how the markets work. It's always potential to do the things that we don't really think or expect or want it to do. So that's how that works. There's very weird corrections happening right now. It's just a very down and now sideways moves. We're all just waiting to see what the market is really feeling right now. And I actually appreciate that it's not super clear, and that seems like it keeps going against what people are thinking or feeling, at least on the surface. So that's good. So that's part of our takeaway, is that anything can turn at any moment. And you know, just be comfortable with your positions. That's the most important part as well. Comfortable with whatever positions you have, and keep finding ways to dollar cost average. And none of this financial advice, of course, but yeah, we're not at horrible levels here. Just trying, but we are at the lower end of those levels. So here it is. This is a big time, important time. KMD on the daily chart for the USD price. I think that's it for this video. We'll come back to the R pricing, but for another video. For now, I think we're done, friends, of that Komodo platform and other just price chart thoughts and processes. I hope you're doing well. Just kind of walking through these ideas and doing it with you as I do it for myself, and just trying to get my own sentiment of what's going on, because not 24, even 12 hours ago, whatever it was, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Right. Well, I guess the decline really started around about 24 hours ago, when really we were starting to break down below the 20 period average on the 4 hour. But yeah, so you know, it's been about a day, and all of a sudden it's turned into something a lot less convincing, right? Here we had the potential to get above this cloud and to start playing in this area. Now we just said, you know, just turned our head and walked away. Anyway, it could be all part of the continued movement, but yeah, right now we're not exactly pleased. I'm not exactly pleased with where this could go in terms of what was previously expected, and not even that, just in terms of the strength of the price chart. However, just like it's turned down quickly, it could turn up quickly and be done with this as well. So there you have it. It's just that now we're getting this wall of Ichimoku cloud price from this turnover here, or maybe the previous one there. But we're getting this wall of Ichimoku resistance coming up ahead of us here around the 22nd of September. But whatever, let's see what happens. Okay, that's it for now. Until next time, I hope you are staying sane. Goodbye.